I gotta hand it to the left. I gotta hand it to the Free Palestine movement. In about a week, they have been more effective at shutting down the cesspool that is American academia, that is these institutions of higher learning that program our young people into being drones for all of the worst ideas. It's not like every idea at the university propagates is just, there to reinforce the regime. I mean, there is plenty of that at American universities, but I think that the one thread that links every single idea on college campuses, it's just chaos. It's inhumanity. That is what the universities preach. They are corrosive to our society. Conservatives in this country have complained about the universities for decades and how they're destroying our society. Even Mr. CIA himself, William F. Buckley Jr., he had this famous quote where he said, I would sooner choose the first 535 people out of the Boston telephone directory to serve in Congress. Just pick random people out of the phone book, that's what he said. Rather than, the faculty, any one person off of the faculty at Harvard University. And so, I shouldn't say anti-academics, because that's not the case. The right would be very happy with academia if they controlled it, but they don't. It's controlled by their enemies. And those people are mutual enemies of the Free Palestine movement. The Free Palestine crowd has set their sights on academia, and they have shut down places like Columbia University. And I think, without question, this is an unmitigated success for the American right. We want these universities shut down. This is a good thing. It reminds me of during the COVID lockdowns, when you had conservatives bemoaning the fact that public schools were closed. You idiots. Closing the public schools is literally the only good thing that happened as a result of the Wu flu hysteria. Libs shot themselves in the foot by closing public schools because it exposed parents to a lot of what their kids were being taught. And a lot of people, as a result, even started homeschooling. And so that was a silver lining for the great evils that were the lockdowns of 2022 indeterminate. And so now, notice back then when that happened, when the public schools were shut down, it was done by the left. The right were not the ones shutting down public schools, even though that is a goal, supposedly, of the American right. Now here again, it is the left that is taking action, which inadvertently is very positive for the right, and the right is bemoaning them. This, to the right-wing commentariat on Twitter and on television and probably radio, this is the number one issue in America right now. Libtards are shutting down our universities, our blessed universities. We must reopen them so we can continue preaching the gospel of Israel or something. And notice these uprisings are occurring at what are the most left-wing universities, where the students are the craziest. That's where you're having these problems. And so it's almost directly the effect that this movement is having on the universities is almost directly proportionate to how bad of a university that is, how bad of an effect the university has on our culture. Now, does that mean that I like these people who are shutting down the universities? No. I think that, they're the usual crazy lefty college kids who I would be opposed to on, in almost any other case. These are people who do not share my values, my views on society. And honestly, I don't know. The issue of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a pretty complicated one. So regardless of which side people come down on, if they pick a side at all, there are people who are well reasoned in their beliefs, and there are those who are not well reasoned. There are those who are just acting on instinct and emotion, and then there are those who look at the facts and make a conclusion based on reason. I can't tell you where any one of these kids fall on that spectrum. Of course, you're going to have the Zionist punditry absolutely decrying all of these kids as virulent anti-Semites. We're just told that all of the left-wing college kids just hate Jews. That's how they are. Now, does that mean that none of them hate Jews? Obviously not. I mean, there's people who hate all sorts of people on college campuses. Generally speaking, though, it's a lot easier to find a left-wing college student who hates white people than hates Jewish people. Yet we don't hear this much belly aching about hatred for white people on college campuses. So the Zionists want to tell me that all these people they're Jew haters because they're against Israel. It's like, well, maybe they are. Considering these same people do hate white people, I could see that they also hate Jewish people. But I'm not over here every day crying, pooping my pants, vomiting uncontrollably because there's a bunch of kids on college campuses who I know hate me for my skin color and my ancestry, and who think that I should be systematically disadvantaged in order to correct for some sort of historical injustice. The difference is, though, that in the case of Israel, what these people seem to be protesting / rioting over are present injustices, not historical ones. This is not, more dumb college kids, whining about slavery as if nobody's ever heard of slavery. And if, the white man has never acknowledged that slavery was a bad thing. No, they are kind of highlighting a very current issue, which is the mass slaughter of civilians in Gaza. That's a very, very current thing that is happening right now, and so the urgency is a little more justified. Now, again, does that mean that I like these people? No, I think they're dirty and smelly, and I don't think they'd be fun to be around. But this is a little bit of a bigger issue than that, how I feel about these kids individually. The fact is, a broken clock is right twice a day. And so if these kids came out and said, Hitler was a bad man, am I going to come out and decry their anti-German prejudice and say, how dare you hate on Hitler? That is a very anti-German statement. You need to apologize to the people of Germany and to students of German descent at the school. And I wouldn't say, we need to organize our counter-protests waving our German flags at the anti-Hitler people. No, I would say, wow, you guys are assholes. But my defense would not be Hitler did nothing wrong. Whereas the response from the right to these riots at college campuses has been, Israel did nothing wrong, ergo, we need to reopen Columbia University. This is why we lose. This is why there is not really a single Republican on the ballot this year, at least in my area, that I have any intention of voting for. Like, none of them are trying. A lot of time, you guys, you just have to show that you're doing something. Give me some reason to go to the polls. I'm not going to go there just to line up and blow you. That's not who I am. That's not how a lot of Americans are. That's why we have such low voter turnout in this country compared to the rest of the developed world. Trump's got a lot of work left to earn my vote because he's just um, uh, I'm not confident that he's learned much from his experiences. I mean, he's still saying he will never declassify the JFK documents. I mean, it's like, I'm not one of these people who's obsessed with the JFK assassination, but just kind of like as a litmus test. Like, what decent American doesn't want the JFK documents declassified? Besides people who are compromised by the intelligence agencies. Oh, wait. And so little things like that make me not even trust Trump, even though, he's worlds better than, the Mike Johnsons of the world. So anyway, that's about how I perceive the situation. I refuse to be outraged about it in any way. So with that said, I will see you folks back here in the next one.